The first time it happened, I didn't panic because of what he did. I panicked because of how it made me feel. There was fear, yes, sharp and immediate, but underneath it, something quieter, something dangerous, a kind of warmth I hadn't felt in years. And that's the part I'm still trying to understand. You can judge me if you want. Most people would. They'd say I should have drawn a line the moment I moved into that house, that I should have remembered who I was and who he was. And maybe they're right. But things like this don't begin with decisions. They begin with moments, small, almost invisible. And by the time you recognize them, you're already standing too close. It started with the stairs. One careless step, a twist, a crack, and suddenly my independence collapsed into a fracture that refused to heal quietly. My nephew Michael insisted I stay with them. Just until you're back on your feet, Aunt Claire. I agreed because the alternative was loneliness and strangers. I didn't think about Ethan. He was 24, young, composed, quietly attentive in the way some men are without trying. I'd seen him at family gatherings before, polite, distant, easy to overlook. But living in the same house changes everything. Distance disappears, details sharpen. You start noticing things you shouldn't. The first week was harmless. He brought me coffee, checked in, kept his space, respectful, appropriate, safe, until the moment it wasn't. I dropped my phone reaching for my crutch. Before it hit the floor, his hand caught it. Before I lost my balance, his other hand steadied me. Careful, he said. Close. Too close. I felt his breath near my temple. And for a second, he didn't move away. Neither did I. That was the shift. Subtle. Irreversible. After that, he started staying longer in shared spaces, sitting across from me at first, then closer, talking more, listening more, really listening. You're not how I remember, he said one evening. Is that good or bad? Real, he replied softly. And the way he said it lingered. By the third week, he'd taken over helping with my recovery exercises, kneeling beside me, guiding my ankle gently, his fingers warm, careful, deliberate. Does this hurt? No. And this? His touch lingered just long enough to make me aware of it. Too aware. Something unspoken grew between us. Not loud, not obvious, but constant, like a quiet current running beneath everything. And I stopped pretending I didn't feel it. I found excuses, small ones, harmless on the surface. Can you help me stand? Could you adjust this? Anything to bring him close, to feel that presence again. That attention. One evening, I asked if I had a fever. He placed his hand on my forehead, then my cheek, then paused, his fingers resting lightly against my neck where my pulse betrayed me. You're warm, he said, but his voice had changed. Lower, slower. The night everything almost broke, the storm came. Power went out. The house fell into darkness, and suddenly it was just us. No distractions, no distance, no safety net. Candlelight filled the room, soft, unsteady, dangerous. Are you afraid? He asked. Not of the storm, then what? I held his gaze. Of wanting something I shouldn't. Silence followed. Heavy, honest. What if it's mutual? He asked quietly. Then it's a mistake. Or maybe, he leaned slightly closer, it's real. My heart was racing. Too fast, too loud, too exposed. This can't happen, I whispered. I know, but neither of us moved. His hand rested between us, open, waiting. I watched my own hand move, slowly, like I wasn't fully in control anymore, until my fingertips brushed his. just barely. But it was enough. The world shifted in that moment. And then the front door opened. Reality crashed back in. We pulled apart instantly. Too fast. Too obvious. After that, everything became more controlled and more dangerous. We didn't cross the line, but we stood close enough to feel it every second, in passing touches, in quiet glances, in the tension that never quite faded. By the time my leg healed, I knew I had to leave. Not because nothing had happened, but because too much almost had. The night before I left, he came to my door. Couldn't sleep. Neither could I. I don't want you to go, he said. I have to. Why? You already know why. He stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the pull again, stronger now, unavoidable. Do you want this to end? He asked. That question, it broke something inside me. Wanting something doesn't make it right, I said, but pretending we don't feel it doesn't make it disappear either. His hand lifted, paused near my face, not touching, but close enough to make my breath unsteady. Not touching you, he said quietly, is the hardest thing I've ever done. And I believed him. Because I felt the same, I reached for him, finally, letting my hand rest against his cheek. Warm, real, too real. This is a mistake, I whispered. I don't care. He closed his eyes, leaning into my touch like it meant something more than it should. And maybe it did. But I still left the next morning. Because sometimes love isn't about choosing what you want. It's about choosing what you can live with afterward. 3 months later, he sent a book I once mentioned. Inside, a note. Simple. Honest. Still thinking about you. I keep it, not as a promise, but as a reminder. Some connections don't need to be completed to change you forever.